Mary Jane Veloso transfer to PH prison being considered by Indonesia. After being in jail in Indonesia for 14 years, Filipina death row inmate Mary Jane Veloso may finally have a chance to come home to the Philippines through the transfer of prisoner policy. In a press release translated to English, Indonesia's Coordinating Ministry for Legal, Human Rights, Immigration, and Correction Kemenko Kumamamipas said it is currently considering the option of transfer of prisoner or prisoner transfer for foreign inmates, including Veloso, as part of constructive diplomacy. It said this was discussed during a meeting with Philippine Ambassador Gina Alagon Jamoralan, where Coordinating Minister Yusril Iza Mahendra emphasized that Indonesia upholds legal sovereignty and is committed to enforcing the criminal sanctions imposed by the courts. Yusril said the matter has been discussed internally within the Kemenko Kumamamipas and brought to the attention of their newly elected President Prabowo Subianto. He said they are now formulating a policy to resolve the issue of foreign prisoners in their country, either through bilateral negotiations or transfer of prisoner. If the request is granted, Mary Jane Veloso will continue to serve her remaining sentence in the Philippines, subject to the conditions determined by the Indonesian court's ruling, the press statement read. In accordance with this policy, the Philippines is expected to recognize the decision and enforce the sentences determined in Indonesia, as this serves as part of a reciprocal cooperation between the two countries. The Coordinating Ministry for Legal, Human Rights, Immigration, and Correction said it continues to coordinate with relevant parties to formulate further procedures, including negotiations and bilateral agreements with the Philippine government. It expressed hope that this will strengthen the relationship between the two countries in upholding law enforcement and protecting the rights of citizens abroad. Yusril said Indonesia respects the request from the Philippine government to consider the transfer of Veloso in the interest of law enforcement in the Philippines. The Philippine government is obligated to acknowledge and respect the legal process regarding Veloso, including the verdict issued by the Indonesian court, he added. Our nation's sovereignty in prosecuting crimes committed by foreign nationals must be fully respected, he further said. However, Yusril said if a foreign national prisoner has been returned to their home country, the responsibility for their rehabilitation rests with that country, including decisions on whether to grant remission or clemency. All of these decisions are handed over to the respective country. It noted that once the inmate is transferred to her home country, her rehabilitation as well as decisions on whether to grant remission or clemency would all be handed over to the respective country. Indonesia respects the request from the Philippine government to consider the transfer of Mary Jane Veloso in the interest of law enforcement in the Philippines. However, the Philippine government is obligated to acknowledge and respect the legal process regarding Mary Jane, including the verdict issued by the Indonesian court, Yusril said. The ministry said this policy would serve as part of a reciprocal cooperation between Manila and Jakarta's effort to strengthen international law enforcement. The Department of Foreign Affairs, meanwhile, has yet to comment as of this posting. Veloso, who has been on Indonesia's death row, was arrested in 2010 after Indonesian authorities found 2.6 kilograms of heroin in her suitcase. She was given a last-minute reprieve in April 2015 when the Philippine government informed Indonesia that her recruiters had surrendered. PNA